Good morning, team. I want to spend a few minutes just to talk about the topic papers, expectations, and what I'm looking for. I am a person who grades a little tighter as relates to performance. One, because this is a laboratory. I want you to learn. I want you to understand where you can improve, and I also want to make sure that when you leave my course, that at least you will have, number one, understanding of the content, and then how to articulate it. So let's talk about the topic papers. So I know that a significant number of you may not like your grade. And I'm going to explain in general, and I am happy to review the papers with you individually and understand that you have the opportunity to resubmit, but I do not take kindly to resubmissions that I feel have not been thoughtfully recrafted. So let me explain to you what I'm looking for. I know some of you asked for a rubric. I don't have a rubric. I have common sense, and I also have an understanding of what is at a graduate level scholarly writing. I will say I assign points in this manner. There is a total possible 10 points. I look at the introduction as 1 point. The 3 points in the body receive 2 points apiece, and the conclusion. What I'm looking for, and this is with any papers, topic paper, it goes back to when we were in middle school, high school. This is the typical formula for any paper, and I think that you need to hone this skill in, particularly if you are going to be writing at a graduate, moving into a doctoral space. These are critical skills that if you cannot articulate and be able to have form and function in your writing, having a master's degree, it's not going to mean much. Okay, so I would rather you learn this from me. I would rather you be, to some degree, maybe upset with me. That's fine, but I want you to learn from me. And learning from me in this particular aspect, as it relates to this topic paper, is your writing. You have to make sure that your writing is at a level of that can be competitive with any student who is in a graduate program. And you have students who are master students who are publishing at the master's level. So you need to make sure that your writing is at that level. And this is not everybody, but I'm giving this information to everybody because it is applicable in some way. So let me start. First of all, anything you write for me needs to have an introduction and a conclusion. Some of you just jumped right into what you had to say without any primer. You have to have, you can Google how to write a paper, how to write a review paper, how to write a topic paper, any paper. You need an introduction and a conclusion. You have to set the stage, right? And the reason why I make it no more than 3 pages, 2 to 3 pages, is because I want you to learn how to be succinct. So the challenge for us in higher ed is that we are verbose. We like to say a lot, but we have to learn how to package information in small bits so that people can get what they need and then move on. Okay, so I'm looking for succinct introductions. I'm looking for conclusions that helps to set the stage for the next thing. Now, the one challenge for a number of you, is you didn't answer the question. The question had 3 parts. Why is your population at risk? The majority of you did not cover that. Neither did you articulate that you were addressing that. You have to let your reader know what you are addressing. So that's the first thing. Making statements about people's socioeconomic status and those kinds of things, that's nice, but you're not telling me why African Americans or first generation, some of you broke out into different aspects, why we consider them at risk in higher ed. You have to explicitly state and back it up with resources to show that you understand why this population is considered at risk in the higher education landscape. Number 2, I asked you to delineate what are the barriers. What are the barriers to their success? I want you to articulate them. I'm not asking you to vomit out 20,000 reasons why people are not successful. I want you to give me, a solid 3 to 5 barriers and back it up with resources. Don't quote people and things that have nothing to do with showing that this is a specific barrier to this particular population being successful in the higher education landscape. Then the final thing I asked you is, what are the challenges to recruiting and retaining them? The challenges. So as higher education practitioners, what are the challenges that we face in recruiting these students and retaining them in our schools? Some of you went right into solutions. I didn't ask you for a solution. I asked you to give me the challenges to recruiting and retaining them. So that is what I'm looking for. If you didn't provide that, then you didn't get points to show that you have mastered, or you have answered, or you have provided me a paper that encompasses those 3 things. So what I want you to do is go back. And then I want to say grammatical, the use of commas, semicolons, the paragraph structure. Listen, simple thing. A paragraph, you need to have at minimum 4 sentences. If you have a paragraph, or you have put a paragraph in that has 2 to 3 sentences, that is not a paragraph. That is common practices for writing. You have to do those things. And your sentences need to be constructed in a complex fashion, meaning that, it's not like C-spot run. You need to have a more developed sentence, but your sentences don't have to be so convoluted that the sentence is 2 to 3 lines long, and it just has too much. It's a run-on sentence and 2 fragments in the middle. So you really have to look at that. It's important. Listen, you all are about to graduate from a master's program, and you have to have writing and the ability to articulate and be responsive to any type of question prompt. If somebody asks you to put together a report, to present the report, when you put your name and you put a comma and then you put that you're a master's level person, that means when they flip the page and begin to read, number 1, you have to be concise. You have to be able to guide the person through the content. And then you have to be able to provide reliable resources that match and support the content that you've put forward. You can't just write whatever you want to write or just, vomit out and puke out a whole bunch of information that's irrelevant to what is being asked of you. And that is why I am adamant about writing, and I'm adamant about doing it right. And this is the environment for me to help you with that. Okay. So my first suggestion to you is, before you get heartburn about your points, I need you to go back into your paper and see, did I have an introduction? Did I explicitly write to the 3 points asked of me? Did I say that here are the factors that make my population at risk? All right? Here are the barriers for my population's success in higher ed. And here are the challenges that higher ed faces in recruiting and retaining these students. And for those 3 things, what are the resources? What are the sources? What are the citations that speak directly to that? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for in the midterm. I'm looking for, or the project. I'm looking for it to be concise. I'm looking for you to answer the questions posed. And I'm looking for thoughtful citations that support what you're saying, so that it's not your opinion, but is actually factual. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, I will be happy to talk to any of you about your papers. There are a few that I need to grade, and I'll grade those today and get those out. But yes, I will be happy to talk to you. I am more than willing to do a couple of sessions around writing and how to really package your information so that you're speaking directly to what the audience is asking or expecting of you. These are very, very critical skills that you need to have as you are marching across that stage, and that MA is being put behind your name. Those 2 letters are very powerful. Now, some of you may say, well, it's for me to, to be able to move to a new job. It's also the ability for me to get paid more money. That's all great, grand, and I applaud you for that. But it also means that you have a certain level of training and experience when it comes to the academy. And that is where I want to make sure that as you are leaving my class, that you are very clear and you understand how to articulate and how to masterfully put things into perspective forever, ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. Amen. So take a look at your papers based upon what I've provided you today. And again, I'm more than happy to review and to talk through the papers, and know that you have an opportunity to rewrite these. It's not the end of the world, but I want to make sure that if you do rewrite, that you're doing it and that you are listening to my comments back to you, so that you can recraft or reimagine your content in a different way, so that when you write it, it comes out in a way that's going to meet the expectations of what is being asked of you. All right. Hope I didn't ramble on too much. Know that this is all in love, because I want you all to be successful. And I want to make sure that when people see and read and hear your presentations and you're asked to provide or present things, that they don't raise their eyebrows when they begin to read it. Okay? So, all right, my team. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you all have about the projects, and I will send out another video probably at the end of the week. All right, thank you.